France are up to something. And I can't decide if it's cheeky and cheating or it's clever and genius, but it looks to me to be a way to get even more out of their best player, to make him even more dangerous. And this is maybe another example of why World Rugby should not tinker with the laws so much. Because there's three things you can be certain of in life: death, taxes, and World Rugby changing the law book every single year. And the problem is, players and coaches, it is their job to find a competitive advantage, to find a loophole, and France are very, very good at it. I mean, look at the fact that one of the laws that World Rugby had to shut down was the Dupont Law, because they spotted a loophole in the law book. And I think they might have found another one, something that I spotted from the Six Nations opener in Paris between France and Wales. I'd love to know what you think. Leave your comments down below. I'm Tim, and this is Egg Chasers. And you know that scene in Empire Strikes Back where Darth Vader strikes down Obi-Wan Kenobi? If you strike me down, Darth, I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Might be a little bit like that right now because, well, World Rugby have shut down one issue, but have they opened up another can of worms? The law of the unintended consequence, another reason why World Rugby just leave the game alone for a bit. Here we go. So what are the laws that World Rugby have shut down? Well, they all concern kicking and blocking and chasing. So the whole point is they're trying to allow a fair contest. So they want to make sure that players allow access. That's the phrase they're using, allow access. I'll use a couple of examples from the World Cup semi-final, also in Paris. I was there that night. Painful to watch again, but it is a good example of what I'm talking about. So firstly, you have to allow a fair contest. Here, Peter Steph Dutoit, perfectly legal back in 2023, to stand in a perfect position to provide a shield for Faf de Klerk, so that Maru Itoje cannot get to the guy kicking the ball. This is now illegal. That would be obstruction. That is not allowing access. Similarly, the England defenders that are running back towards Freddie Steward provide a lovely little shield around him, like a little force field, and they just slow their run. And these are called escorts, and this is now illegal as well. You cannot block chasers from getting to the ball. Now, on the face of it, this seems like, yeah, well, that's a good law change, isn't it? But as I said, players and coaches, it's their job to cheat. And I don't say that as like a negative thing. That's just what they do. Their job is to win rugby matches. So they're trying to find ways to get around the laws. And France are particularly good at this. And I wonder if other teams are going to start doing this. So what I noticed was France standing there forwards in a kind of line close to a ruck. Now, this isn't unusual because quite often rugby teams will have these pods. Quite often a group of three forwards with one back behind them, and it's a little diamond shape that gives you various options. You can tip, you can pass out the back, or you can carry it up, whatever the case may be. This is slightly different. This is France standing in a line, and what they actually do, as you can see, is they provide a physical shield for Antoine Dupont crabbing across and backwards from the breakdown. And if you look at the body language of the French players, this is planned. This is organised. They know what's going on. This is not a surprise. They are not expecting to catch the ball like players are when they're in that pod shape, ready to go. Almost like an offensive line in American football, blocking the opposition from getting to him. And France's players are doing nothing illegal. They're just standing still. You're not allowed to stand still like that right next to a ruck anymore, but you can stand still like that a little bit further out, and it leads to the same effect. Antoine Dupont is given time and space to do his thing, and it works beautifully for the Theo Atasogbe first try, the crossfield kick, the time and space that Dupont is afforded because he has these players, and it happened multiple times in the match. And I think we're going to see a lot more of it in France's games in this Six Nations. I think you're going to suddenly see opposition teams trying to find a way to combat it, and the cycle goes on again. And this is the point. Rugby players, it's their job to win rugby matches, to find legal ways to bend and break the rules, and World Rugby are always one step behind. I would recommend, maybe World Rugby, stop trying to change everything all the time and just let players and coaches do what they do. Some changes are necessary and are good. Some are not needed. The law of the unintended consequences. You think you're shutting one door, you're opening another. And I think France might be onto something here.